Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Thursday, August the 14th, 2025, and today's topic is going to be a profile. I'm going to draw it right here of a kind of a character I'm working on for one of my stories. But it's going to be a profile of a woman wearing glasses, but basically a character. It may take more than one video, but before we begin, welcome back if you're returning and welcome if you're new to the channel. I sketch and post every day and I use a timer to stay focused and to build a habit. I'm just going to use the same page as part of the 4-week commitment. We're on Thursday of week 2. Although it's a 4-week commitment thing that I'm doing, I'm just doing that for fun really. And I mean, I find it helpful, but I also make these videos self-contained. I'll just go over some different things because it always helps me to go over stuff too. It could also just kind of give you ideas and stuff. So yeah, I'm approaching this in a way that is sort of basic, drawing the profile with the glasses thing, because I haven't really done that, but also leaving enough room to where I can stylize it for like my own character and stuff. So I think this is a good kind of challenge because, for example, so I'm going to use this like thin pen, but you can use a pencil if you want. I'm using the thinner pen so that I can fix things when I go to render it. I need it to fit like, or I want it to fit like right here. So for example, let's say that this is the top of the head, because I can kind of picture the profile right here. So then I'm going to decide, okay, I want the chin to be kind of like right here. So this can be good because I'll go over kind of proportions and stuff, because that's what happens sometimes. I see like when people, and I've done this too, when you try to draw like the head and then it's like certain things go off the page, which is sometimes good. I mean, that's not like terrible or anything, but like sometimes you want something to fit like in there. So for example, I might want like the whole head to fit in here. So if that's the case, I'll probably need to know, like in a profile, like the back of the head right here. I probably need to know that, because otherwise if I'm just drawing the face, it's probably going to go off. Like most likely it's going to go off the page is the thing. So then if I know this, I kind of want to have like a circle. So that's why I've been working on like these basic shapes here. So that's why a circle, which is a basic shape, comes in handy. So this is basically a circle right here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but kind of circular. Then that's going to adjust like where this is. And so since I'm wanting the head to fit in here, I can adjust like the jawline. That's the thing. If I try to make this the face, if I draw that first, most likely I'll have to add like the back of the head, and it's probably going to go off the page. So with that in mind, so this is like the circle right here. So this is kind of a circle shape. Again, you can use a pencil for this to do like the circle. I can make adjustments. It doesn't have to be perfect because there's variations. So I'm looking off of a couple of different references, for example. So maybe one is like a profile, and then I just looked up like glasses and profile, because like I said, I haven't really drawn that, and so I'm kind of like, the character's wearing glasses, but then I'm kind of curious what that looks like. If I'm using a pen, that's basically what I'm going to have right here. The other thing is just, you might want to find a way to check the proportions. I'm going to give you sort of what I found out, but like find out for yourself. Don't just take my word for any of this stuff. Just experiment on your own. So I've got one of these things. This is like it helps with proportions and drawing circles. It looks like, for example, in a profile, it's going to be like half and half. So just, it's kind of like this. I eyeballed it. So, but at first you might want to use something to kind of help you. So use something like this to help you sort of understand, like, so just to prove it to you, I'll do like half and half. So this is a pencil, so I can erase it. So that's right here, and that's right here. So that is to show you proof that it is half. You can eyeball it, but before you eyeball it, you might want to practice. So you can see that I was pretty close. And that's what the circle is. If you draw like a perfect kind of circle, it'll be sort of half. So hopefully that makes sense. But that's what proportions are. For me, if I'm just kind of looking at something or thinking about proportions, what helps me is sort of half, I can usually guess like the halfway point. I'll be off by a little bit. So this is kind of the halfway right here. And this is sort of the circle. So the circle is representing the cranium of the head, like this part, which is a big part of it. I mean, that's sort of like the main kind of look, but you'd be surprised at how much like the face and like the hair actually accounts for a lot of the look of it. So we said that this is sort of the half. So that's where the forehead is sort of coming in, and where the like the eyes are kind of like right there. And that's anatomy. That's the cranium with the like the eye socket kind of thing. Since this is the halfway, and there's a lot of variation. So that's like the basic proportion, but there's a lot of variation to the features, like the surface anatomy. If it's a woman, you tend to want to not make it like too angular, like chiseled. So for example, it's going to be kind of like this. This is like the main thing, but you can study the smaller kind of proportions. So for example, I'll do it, but I encourage you to do it yourself. So an example would be, I find that the eye line is easier to figure out, okay, like that's halfway for like the overall like head, the profile. But then once you have this much, you might want to figure out like the brow, because that's different for everybody. It's different because of the cranium, like the skull, but it's also different because of like the style and like the way it grows and stuff. So just, I'm going to indicate it because it can look different, but it's basically right there. And so that's basically where the brow is. From here, you might want to figure out the halfway point there. So again, halfway. Notice that I eyeballed that, as I like to say. So I just kind of eyeballed that, but like notice that that's half and then that's about half. But so since I eyeballed that, you'll notice that it's pretty close. I mean, so the brow is halfway and then the chin is halfway. So those are the basic proportions. And so same with this. So if this is like the cranium, let's say that that's kind of halfway where the circle is. Like kind of like this. See? It's about halfway. Again, you can kind of eyeball it, but it's basically halfway. And then you have like sort of basic kind of stuff like that people sort of know. So like the ears, the brow, and then like the bottom of the nose. Again, there's variations, but that's like the basic. Like the mouth isn't exactly half. It's going to be a little bit right here. But you can kind of already see sort of the face. But I kind of leave this until I get sort of the rest of it. The neck. It's not going to be right under the ear. It's going to be behind it. Same with, again, I'm looking at reference here. But I'm doing this in a way where I can actually replicate the character too. Because I'm not always wanting to draw like realistic characters. Like I want it to be sort of stylized characters. It looks like the neck is going to be around where the eyes are. So kind of like this. And I'm keeping sort of, giving myself enough room, and I'm keeping everything a little bit softer, not completely squarish. And because I'm using like a pen, if I have to fix things, then I'll just give it a background or something. The next would be like maybe the hairstyle or something. So I'm just gonna have the hair like be up here. So let's get to like the glasses, because that was the main idea. So now that I have this much, so part of why I wanted to leave it sort of sketchy like this is because the glasses sort of, they have to be sitting. So one thing is obviously if this is the ear, so I'm gonna have is it the arm of the glasses, the legs? It sits right here. The lens kind of goes like this. Obviously it looks different. This is just the reference I'm using. And then the lens are out here. So that's like the rim of the glasses. it looks like the nose. So that's like the basic proportion. So the leg or arm or whatever, the handle of the glasses, and then they kind of come out from behind the ears. Sort of like this. What else would be important? I mean, everything else is correct. Maybe like the hairline could be like here. Again, part of this, if you're using reference, you can kind of just see. And then the collar of the shirt. But I'll probably keep working on this because it's a character idea. I'll mark off that Thursday is complete. So yeah, this is the 4-week commitment to sketching. I want to thank you for joining me for our daily sketching routine, and if you enjoy these videos, please support the channel. I appreciate it, and until next time, keep on sketching.